Here we go. We're in Chief's loft. What are we going to find? He's got a box that's full of toys. It's going to blow your mind. Action figures, it's G.I. Joe. To the left and right. Broken thumbs and rusted screws. Man, it's out of sight. Toys, toys, toys are looking for a good time.
Welcome, special YouTube edition, Talking Joe, me the Chief Doggy Dog, you...
S-Jubs of G.I. Joburg. Guys, you know me, this is my channel.
That's it.
Who the hell are you?
Interloper. So this is the second time Talking Joe has been on YouTube. Myself and Diagnostic 80, Chris McLeod. Before he actually came on as co-host, well, Ben was still co-hosting the show, we did a Talking Force collaboration where we looked at the weekly Marvel Action Force comic, and go and check that out on YouTube. Really fun doing that. I think he put loads of cool video clips and pics in. Well done to McLeod for that. But now we decided, if you're a regular listener to Talking Joe, we're going to look in Chief's Toy Box. And if you're not a regular listener, then make sure you go in there, subscribe. We're in the 80s now of episodes. We cover all of G.I. Joe comics, started with the Marvel run, did the whole lot of that, special missions, yearbooks. Now we're on the IDW run. We're up into the 200s now, myself and my man over here. And it's a great show. Go and check that out. If you are a regular listener, you'll know we've been prompting this for a while now, but I have a box full of G.I. Joe toys from my youth, from my childhood. And I know a few stuff's in there, but I don't really delve into the box. S-Jub's very keen to have a look in my box, and we're going to open up the lid. I'm going to pull out some figures and see what we got.
Yep, so, here on G.I. Joburg, we're all about the toys. But if you do want to go deep with G.I. Joe comic books, there is a weekly show on all your podcatchers called Talking Joe with Chief and Steve. Check that out. But let's talk some toys, Chief.
I'm going to take the lid off the box. Okay. Is anything catching your fancy from that minute, minuscule view you can see?
Well, straight off the bat, buddy, I am a fan of Deep Six. Gotta say, in spite of his bricky nature, there is a lot of fun to be had with that toy. Because you just literally wind up and throw him into the ocean and no harm will come to him, my friend.
Yeah, so
they built him tough.
These are all my originals, a little bit loosey on the arms, bit of swing action there, but what goes on the back there? He's got a section, is that?
Ah, yes. Well, there's a pump, a bellows system that came with your Shark, which has no doubt gone the same way as your Shark. But basically it plugs into the back, you pump him full of air to bring him to the surface.
I love the Shark, I love Deep Six. Now I'm going to probably, I don't know if this will annoy some toy collectors, but I'm not going to refer to any of these as version of figures. I just call them series. So for me, series 1, series 2, and I'm probably even getting the series wrong for what they actually are. But for me, this was like the first lot of articulated Palatoy action figure ones. So on that set you had a Baroness, Destro, Major Blood, Cobra Commander, and then on the Joe side.
Now the Shark had paper stickers, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Dunno.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm just thinking when you put that sucker in water, surely something bad was going to happen to those stickers.
Yeah, you'd think so. But anyway, I loved the Shark, great vehicle. I don't think I probably appreciate it as much as a kid as I do now, because he's kind of facing down, isn't he, in the cockpit,
it's an awkward arrangement.
View.
Yeah, no, it's a weird look. That vehicle had so much potential, and it was something that was animated well and drawn well in G.I. Joe media, but the toy had an awkward way in which the figure would fit. Yeah. Fun fact about the Deep Six figure, though, and I've seen a smashed Deep Six, so I can confirm this with my own eyes, but they're metal weights in each of his feet. So he will have the perfect sort of sink profile. It'll sink. Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to test that out.
Well, you do have to upend him and allow all the air to kind of bubble out.
Okay.
But then if you then invert him while in the water, he will sink like that. Perfect.
Very cool. Very cool.
Moving on, Chief.
Let's go.
Let's sink
Where do you want me
deeper.
to go? You just tell me. Where shall I move the
Oh,
hand?
Chief, no, man. Where does your nostalgia take you?
No, I'm not even looking in the box.
Oh, you're not looking. He's doing it blind. Jeez.
Who's
Okay,
this?
real grab bag. Rock and Roll version 2, the definitive rock and roll to some. I don't know. Did you ever have the original sort of with the long hair and the
No.
removable helmets?
No. I remember getting these. Me and Ben were getting these from Argos, and they were doing 5 packs of figures for something like about £15 or something for 5 packs. But it was on the advert. It was like figures may vary, so you never knew what figures you were going to get. They were almost like.
Were they
blind
still
bags.
on card? Were they still on card, Chief?
Yeah. They were exactly as you would buy a single figure off the shelf, but they couldn't.
But
you couldn't guarantee what figures
blind.
you were going to get. Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible, man.
So this guy's got.
So he was a blind purchase.
Yeah.
He's in bloody good nick. I mean, both the posts on his leg are still intact. Mine did not last long. That Rock and Roll was one of my early figs, and he saw some serious maneuvers, man.
Yeah. So I don't know, in terms of down in the box, I don't know what weaponry I've got down in here. So we'll just see, because it's all filtered to the bottom of the box. So he's got a nice nice knife on the side there, molded to the leg.
He's looking like he's got all the heavy hitters. I mean, he would have. Oh, we've lost the feed. Battery
was on about 60%. Temperature needs to cool.
Temperature, of course. Oh well.
So we can continue, listeners.
You can just.
Viewers.
We're also blind. Hey, that's my guy. Shockwave, excellent. Oh, he's got his knife. He's got his backpack. The only accessory that I have of my original Shockwave is the backpack. Everything else got lost, I think, in a municipal dump. And the stock is still intact. Chief, you took very good care of your figures. That is very impressive. And it doesn't even seem like there's much stress to the plastic. Normally, like, the stock will have whitened from being inserted into the crook of the elbow, and then kind of it'll be bent always. But hey, you got lucky, son.
Yeah,
maybe you're storing them at the optimal temperature.
That's it. Okay, so who else have we got in here?
Do you have any nostalgia associated with Shockwave, or is he just one of the boys? Okay, well that's reaching far back into the annals of history.
Shockwave, just one of the boys. Zero nostalgia for him.
And Flash?
Big nostalgia for Flash.
Fantastic.
Love this guy. Obviously, doesn't look like he's got his. Did he come with a visor?
Yeah, clear visor, backpack, and the XM1 or XL1. I don't know. It's the experimental laser.
I would have no idea what his weapons looked like. So if there are any in the bottom of this box, again, you'll have to identify. But he's in pretty good condition. He's joints are still, nice and tight.
Was he a protagonist of yours, Chief? Is he like ever your main man?
Probably not. No. I mean,
because a lot of these, the sort of the old guard of G.I. Joe, the kind of people who were there in '82 buying the toys,
yes,
really gravitated towards Flash.
Okay.
He just had a very striking appearance, a unique weapon, a backpack, the visor. He seemed to have more accessories than most of those early figures.
I would just say, for me, he's probably a little bit mundane, which is almost kind of counter to what you were saying, but just looks like a normal, no pun intended, grunt.
Look, relative to the rest of the '82 crew, he was a standout. But, relative to stuff that you were acquainted with by like '84, '85, the later series, he was definitely a little bit plain Jane.
All right. Okay. Here we go.
What? Oh, now you always led me to believe that Barbecue was one of your faves.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Was it the Action Force comic book that entrenched that?
It was that, plus the fact he came with an axe, and
you like your close quarters combat, man.
And the faceplate, I just like that. It kind of, I was big into Star Wars, and it kind of just reminds me of kind of a Star Wars-ish kind of head.
But we've spoken on this before, Chief, and for the people who might be unfamiliar with this line of conversation, you did not mix Star Wars and G.I. Joe.
No, I didn't.
Those universes were separate. And yet, G.I. Joes that had a Star Wars aesthetic, they were the ones that got your playtime.
Yeah.
Okay. Did
He's
you
got a
ever
really,
play him as like a droid?
no, don't think so.
Okay.
He's got a really nice kind of, probably doesn't pick it up, it's a silver
Yeah, it's
little
like a.
emblem.
It's not quite like a flame. It almost looks like a dial of some kind.
So what goes on this bit here?
Yes, that would be his very small, very easily misplaced black foam dispenser, which then would have the standard black hose, which would run to his backpack. He would
Okay.
have tanks on his back. It's a
Yep.
nice two-piece accessory that the tanks are molded in red, and the frame into which they clip is molded in gray. So it
Okay.
picks up his color palette so nicely.
Yep.
Great
Cool.
figure, Chief.
So this is
I
what
got
I would.
mine in Bournemouth with an Action Force tactical battle platform.
Wow.
It was just a freebie that was thrown in.
Nice.
Good times,
Nice.
huh?
I would see. This is what I would class UK as Series 2.
Okay. Yeah.
Or Ben would probably call Series 1, because this was the first lot of the rebranding of G.I. Joe, or of Action Force.
Yes. No more Pally Toy cards.
No more Palitoy cards. So I would say this was somewhere between Series 1 and Series 2 for us, I guess. As
What
kids.
is Barbecue's hair color under there? If you were to guess.
Ginger. No, he's a
Ah,
redhead.
very good. Excellent. Yeah, so Action Force comic book was consistent with the G.I. Joe cartoon, I think, on that regard. Okay, well, that speaks of something yet to come.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, do you
I've still
know
got-
whose that is?
Yeah, it's Crocmasters.
All right, what's her name?
No idea.
Lola? Tiffany? They're always girls, aren't they?
Anyway, here we go. I'm digging in. What have we got here? Feeling the head. Oh, he's got a cap. He's got a peaked cap.
I'm going to say hardball.
Very loose right arm. Let's have a look.
Oh, okay. A classic. Jeez,
One of my
people
faves.
love that figure. Oh, and you do too.
Almost no tattoo. It's very worn on the chest. The head is super loose.
Well, that is heartwarming, Chief, to see that he's had some mileage on him. Because I got so sick of seeing you pulling practically mint figures out of that box. I'm now like, yes, this guy was a childhood fave.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Gung-Ho.
Can you recall the adventures? I mean, was it always traipsing through a jungle? Did you used to find like little streams?
More than likely, he was knee deep or waist deep in a swamp or a jungle scenario.
Then you're gonna have to check those screws, man. Are they nice and brown?
One in the back has got some rust in it.
Excellent. And the thighs?
Thighs. Oh yeah, inside
The inside of the thigh.
Super. You probably won't pick it up. Super brown.
Perfect. Good. Well, that's very telling, Chief. He definitely did get wet and wild. I mean, of course, he's a jungle trooper. He's a Marine.
Got another one here. Let's feel the head. Helmet. No ideas. Let's have a look. Ah,
Oh man! Now, people are going to be writing in. People are going to be on the comments saying, "How much for the Crimson Guard?"
oh really?
Look how beautiful that chest symbol is.
Loose
And
arm.
we don't have great definition on the camera, but it does look like he's got a very full tampo patch on his bicep. That's a very fine detail that's often quite rubbed. But yeah, I can see the triangle. Does it have the kind of the two ferns on the outside?
One of them
Can you make them out?
One of them's gone a little bit.
Oh, well, look, bottom line, that is a beautiful Crimson Guard. Lovely display piece.
Great
Yeah,
figure.
man.
Great figure.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
Now then, what's it? Oh, beret, I think. Beret.
Flint or Falcon. Ah, yes. Now, UK fans are all about this guy.
Yeah.
And also fans of the cartoon, too. Flint definitely had a good showing, along with his Lady Love. They were kind of an inseparable pair.
Now, he had a lot of playtime, Flint, with Lady J. Not in a a
A
funky
little bit of
way.
that too.
Um,
Come on,
but,
man. We were coming of age, right?
but I was always, and again, I'm no military man, so I don't know if this is how it would be. But I was always had the feeling that his beret is just too slanted. The angle is a little bit too steep.
Yeah, agreed. It's it's about to be whipped off by the wind or the prop wash of the helicopter that he's just flown in.
Yeah, yeah.
Big time.
Good figure.
Yeah,
that.
it is a bit too jaunty, but it gives him character, I suppose. Can you argue with that?
I've got two figures, one in each hand. Which hand do you want, left or right?
Wow. Okay, left.
That's this one.
All right. Let's see if you can remember his name.
Bullhorn.
Oh my goodness, Chief, excellent. What do you think of this guy? Definitely a later figure. I mean, you must have been in your teen years when you got old Bullhorn.
I was a big fan because I really liked the not so much now, but I really liked the head gear.
Yeah,
And he had
does it remind you of like the SWAT team from Terminator 2?
a little bit, or almost it's almost Viperish, I think, for me.
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
because it's silver, of course.
yeah, and he came with a really cool sniper rifle that you could take apart and put in a case, if I'm not mistaken.
Which was beautiful and a very clever piece, but you could never get him to snipe with it. It didn't have a handle that was compatible with GI Joes, but as absolutely a fantastic accessory. It was actually a backpack. It would go plug to his back.
Yeah.
What's with the face, though? It's
is he
very puzzling.
Is he Native American or not?
Looks it, but I don't think the file card necessarily supports it.
Okay.
But what's with, it's interesting camo patterns. Maybe he took some lessons from Xandar.
Let's go. Left or right?
Well, we went left last time. Let's go right. Huh? What's going on here?
I was showing you the top of the heads.
Right. Okay. Honest opinion. What do you think of Frag Viper?
At the time, really, really liked him.
Nice.
Now,
so did I.
Now, just a bit too sci-fi-ish in the helmet, in the headgear, insectoid looking.
Hmm. And superhero uniform-ish.
Yes.
Like almost 90s superhero uniform.
Yeah.
I'm
finding when would this have been out? I'm finding a lot of these later figures very loose. Or maybe it's not late.
Well, buddy, it's only a matter of time, isn't it? But what you do find with later figures are they are particularly prone to the elbow cracks. 88, 89, that was kind of the most guilty year.
Okay.
Maybe the plastic quality changed. Just seems a very thin joint as well.
And so, there's a hose that goes on his face gear, is it, down to his backpack?
Yes, correct. It feels like almost every other Viper had that gimmick by that stage.
Right.
There was always a hose from the helmet to the backpack. Okay. Range Viper, Frag Viper.
Right. And again, I don't know the score, but very barrel-chested, this guy. Very thick in the chest.
Well, I guess you gotta be pretty built to hurl those grenades. I mean, that was the gimmick with Frag Viper. He was a stealth grenadier because he could basically lob grenades, the same range that a grenade launcher would fire them, but do it with the sort of the cesta, high ally, that's sports. I don't know, with the...
Oh, yeah, that's wicked.
Yeah, that's exactly how he gets distance. Can I identify? I know that the one is ambush, and the other is... I know this. I'm blanking, though.
I'm putting it to the
side.
Those
are kind of boot covers.
I'm putting it to the side. They will come next. Ambush. Now, he came with a lot of gear, including almost like a tent, didn't he?
Yeah. A ghillie suit, another word for it. Just a kind of mesh that he could wear because he was a concealment specialist. So he's the guy who is like basically working his way through dense shrubbery, inch by inch, lying in his own filth, basically, over the course of 3 days to eliminate a high value target. I always imagined that was his thing. But curiously, look at his like World War I era handlebar moustache.
Love it. That's
Like,
what
it's
made
even
him.
before that.
That's what made him one of my faves. Love
Really?
funky facial hair. Yeah, and is he almost an upgrade to Outback in a way?
I don't think he ever had the same media impact.
No, not an
There was
upgrade.
they had some fun with him in the second series of cartoons, the Deke animation cartoons, which followed on from the Sunbow cartoons. But he just, in the comic books, he just got shot by like the Range Viper, didn't he?
This was
With
tangled up.
benzene.
Maybe this was tangled up in the next figure.
Oh, excellent. The original mesh.
Yeah.
Chief, that's a pretty valuable piece these days. Those things are notoriously torn and frayed beyond recognition. That is the piece that would go over his tent, as you say. Yeah.
And here's the guy with the boot coverings. I believe his name is
Oh,
Rampart.
very good. Yes. Is his crotch repaired? What's going on there? Oh, it is supposed to be tan, of course. Okay. Yes. Right.
Cool figure. I like him. He reminded me of the kind of, again, another Star Wars reference, Empire Strikes Back on Hoth, kind of those, the rebels with that peaked cap and the goggles.
Yeah. The Echo Base guys.
Echo Base guys, yeah.
You know, I never made that association, but I guess I must have on some level gotten it. Maybe.
Two points here. This here attaches to his gun, maybe, or his rockets if he has it. And what's on here? A missile goes on there, does it? A rocket?
Correct, yeah. The missiles had like a little stem, and you could flick the back of the launch tube to get rid of it. The gun has like a hook that would then slip over that post on his hip.
Oh, cool. Like an Aliens.
And there you go, smart gun. There were a number of attempts to do smart gun-esque weapons in G.I. Joe. Repeater was another example.
It's quite good. I like it.
Of,
He's right.
Yeah. Didn't have much characterization. Characters thin on the ground.
Pulling out two. I'm getting the boots.
Sludge Viper and a Tiger Force guy. I'm gonna say Tiger Force. No,
I'll put him
green.
to the side.
Oh, that's Mutt.
We'll find out.
Sludge Viper, right? These were a separate breed of troop, whereas the Toxo Viper version 2, which were in Eco Warriors, was an upgrade of the original Cobra troop. These guys are something else. I think they perhaps answer directly to Cesspool.
Yeah,
maybe that's
big
that's
fan. I like the head mold. It kind of looks like a
man.
Cylon from Battlestar Galactica. Now, was there any kind of color change or something on these, or not?
You called it, man.
I don't know, because there's a load of white, kind of almost powdery mildew on the leg, and it looks like, I can't remember if they did change color or not.
I don't know if we got back stock or old stock in South Africa, but all of those guys were messed up by the time they reached us. Like, they all were incapable of correctly functioning. Battle damage would not show up under cold water, hot water. You know, it was stuffed. It was basically that caked nonsense, just gumming up the thing. But once again, another barrel-chested figure. He's buff.
I'm going back to the other one that you did then correctly, and this was probably my favourite figure growing up.
Why would you say your favourite?
Loved the color scheme on the outfit. Loved the removable helmet with the goggles on the top. Was really cool.
And as we've established, you love a good tash.
Love a tash. Love the one glove, one no glove. He does have a broken thumb, as you can see.
Action packed. What do you suppose broke it? The leash?
I can tell you exactly what broke it. Do you know the weapon that I used to have him hold? It was the mounted Gatling gun that was clipped onto the Silver Mirage bike.
Oh my word!
So there was
Firstly, I don't know if that's a Gatling gun.
Okay,
it's just one big open barrel. I think it's they say it's a mortar launcher on the blueprints, I think. But man, if you played it like a Gatling gun, I mean, who doesn't like a Gatling gun?
Yeah, and there was the post that would attach into the back of the bike. That's what he would hold in his hand. He could kind of I had to force his thumb, obviously, for him to grip that little post. And that's what...
Was it the Silver Mirage or was it the Ram?
No, the Ram, you're right. not the Silver Mirage.
Well, then you definitely are right. It is a Gatling gun. What fun, man! Were
That's
you
the one
once
that comes
again
with
trying to?
that came with Quarrel. Is that right?
Yeah. The Rap
So
Assault's motorcycle action force
so
variant, the Z
Quarrel,
Force.
Quarrel, and the bike were long gone. Must have had them at some point, but I do not remember having had those during most of the playtime. But I had that one-wheeled Gatling gun side cannon thing.
His personal weapon has a wheel on it.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
yeah. But he's one of my
Well,
favourites. Love that.
I'm impressed you managed to get him to hold it before the thumb gave out. Like, it was only a matter of time, man. That hairline crack started when you inserted it, and it just got worse and
It
worse.
was this.
Who's the evil master of disguise? Zartan. Changes color right before your eyes. Zartan. Great. I love the fact that he's beat.
Yeah, missing the hollow pads on the thighs.
Missing a dick too.
Missing. Oh yeah, didn't notice that.
Woohoo!
But he got a lot of play. So
Outstanding, man. My most vivid and earliest introduction to Zartan was in an Action Force weekly comic book, Battle Action Force comic book. The issue's name was Operation Snakebite, and Zartan was just this very quiet, sadistic killer who hung out in a swamp and dispatched members of Action Force by drowning them, basically like dragging them like a crocodile.
Yep.
I mean, he was inhumanly strong, seemingly could hold his breath forever. He was just this swamp creature. And subsequent versions of him have never lived up to that initial impression. But looking at the original action figure with the blank eyes, he just gives you that very spooky, inhuman feel.
If you want a bit more of an in-depth on Zartan, we did cover him on our Steve Talks Toys segment on a recent episode of Talking Joe, so go check that out. I'm just thinking, actually, I need a bit of a background like yours because a lot of light coming in to me. So I think we're going to have another one of these segments because I've got about, looking at the clock, I've got about 10 minutes for the misses. I get in the bad book. So we'll go for a few more figures, but we will come back with another episode of this because I'm having fun. So let's do 4 more figures. And this is the first one I've got.
Oh, outstanding, man. Well, that does tell me that you, at one stage at least, had the killer whale.
Nope.
What?
Nope. I think this would have been a swap. So this would have been not Ben, but someone, one of his friends maybe had the whale, I think. And I was notorious for, because I was older than those guys by like 4 or 5 years, I was notorious for cutting horrendously bad deals.
Swindler.
So
you like Han Solo, baby.
I swindled a cutter, busted crotch, but
well, you got Han without the Millennium Falcon, so your deal was good.
Yeah,
but not that good.
Okay, let's go 3 more. Who's this? Oh, I'm turning the head. Oh no, it does go up and down. I thought it was just a swivel to be one of the early parts. Ah, nice.
Excellent. So much character in the cartoon. The comic book interpretation barely scratched the surface. He was the Han Solo of the cartoon with a Jack Nicholson raspy voice. Yeah, good Nick. I'm not gonna lie.
And
even under this lighting. So did you really warm to Shipwreck? He had another cool close range weapon. He had those like anchors.
That's broken there. Yes.
Who needs it?
Yeah, I think I did. I liked Shipwreck. I love the bell bottoms. I'm into 70s disco music, and the fact he's wearing these flared bell bottoms gives him a thumb up. And the very stereotypical garb.
But it will definitely stand out in a crowd. I mean, the fun thing about G.I. Joe was if you were down with Green Army Men, it had that. But if you were down with a very colorful pantheon of characters, it had that too. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. 2 more. So I've got here. Oh.
Whoa, the other piece. Now that's the one that would go over him.
Yep.
And what I understand about ghillie suits is the soldier themselves is the one who customizes it with bits of terrain that they pick up on the mission. Oh,
Yeah.
huh. Footloose. Saw that. Another Action Force fave.
Not a busted crotch, but yeah.
He's
Footloose
been muted.
was never one of my faves. I think it's difficult, isn't it? Like looking back now, I love all these guys who are kind of just in standard military uniform. But at the time, because I was into superheroes and Star Wars, I warmed more to the characters at the time that were a bit more outlandish looking.
I think it's fair to say I still do.
Right.
I've never been able to warm to Footloose. That's not to say he's not a fantastic figure. He is. But
The red mark on the shoulder, on the upper arm.
yeah, off the top of my head, I wouldn't be able to tell you. But
It's a bullet wound.
easily confused with that. Yeah.
Interestingly, I've not seen many characters with watches. You've got a watch
And
on.
does the strap go all the way around, or is it? It's a clip-on. My friend and I, my buddy Rob, would always have a chuckle about characters that had an incomplete watch strap.
Yeah, both of them.
I think there are more Joes that have incomplete watches than ones that have actual, unbroken straps.
Right, one more to go. I'm going to look in the box for this one to pull out a tasty.
Alrighty.
Who should we? I don't know who is tasty. Let's have. Oh, I've got some good figures in here. I'm looking ahead now. I'm going to save that one for next time. That is one of my all-time favourites. That's one of my all-time favourites. Let's bring out this guy.
Ha! Crowd pleaser. Did I say you were going to get some correspondence about your Crimson Guard? Well, prepare to get some correspondence about that figure, my friend. That pajama.
That pajama. Yep.
Yep.
The Z.
Kelvin Mondale.
Is it?
That's his code. His file name. Yeah, it came with the Z Force headquarters along with Gaucho, who I think is a mechanic. But it was the Gung-Ho body with just a Z Force sort of orangey red bomber jacket, whatever. The vest that Gung-Ho wears. That is the communications specialist, hence Jammer.
Yeah. Probably
Brilliant.
one of my most played with figures.
Huh. He doesn't look it, Chief. He looks, at least on this camera, pretty decent.
There's a pretty brown screw there.
That is of very little importance, man. Screws can be replaced. The paint is in good nick. He's unbroken.
I used to use, I'm pretty sure the weapon I gave him was Frostbite's sniper rifle, or the rifle with the scope, the massive scope. I don't know
because of issue 26 and 27 of the Marvel comic, where Stalker he's got the M16 with the scope.
Yeah, maybe. But it just seemed it was one of my favourite weapons, and I like to give my favourite characters my favourite weapons.
Okay, so him and Gung-Ho, they were slogging it through the jungle, right?
Yeah.
Outstanding, man.
Okay, that is a partial selection. We've probably got another show in there, most definitely, at least another show, maybe two. But
great stuff.
I hope you've enjoyed it, SJub7. I hope the viewers have enjoyed looking through Chief's Toy Box. I'm going to put the lid on, so to stop me looking ahead about what's in there for next time. It's all a surprise. And then actually there'll be, maybe we get through the figures on the next one, and then do another one because there's going to be loads of weapons littered across the bottom of that box. We can do a weapon special.
Do
Okay.
Great.
Go check out
Thank you for joining us, viewers.
Check out Talking Joe. We how do we close it out again? With all that said and done, we'll catch you down the road.
We've been Talking Joe.
And we're all out of Joe's. Laters.
Yo!